Jesus Diaz, also known as Chef Jesus, on-air talent for Univision, Despierta America, two-time Emmy Award-winning show author. Welcome. Thank you so much for accepting the invitation.
Thank you, my brother Chepe. Thank you for having me, bro.
For sure. So I contacted you and I wanted you to be on with us first because I've met you on set and you've become one of my friends in Miami. And I wanted you to be able to share with all the audience about a little bit about your career and some images that impacted your career. So you sent me over 5 photos that I'm sure not only just impact your career, but impact your life. So the
Absolutely.
first photo I have here is of you in front of a restaurant. Tell us about that.
In front of a restaurant. So that's Ikura. That's my first and the only restaurant I've had. I opened it in 2012. And Ikura means a lot to me. Obviously, it was my first business. But even not giving me the amount of wealth that I was expecting, it took me to Despierta America, because I got to Despierta thanks to Ikura, no? To go in there and promote my menu, my food. So it means a lot. Obviously, it was a challenge, no? Opening my own business without having much money, or money to invest. So it was a lot of work. It was a lot of perseverance. I had to do everything pretty much on my own, get the licenses, pass the inspections, build the menu, decorate the space. So pretty much everything, little by little, with the help of my family. I'm the youngest of three. So my brother and my sister helped a lot in the process. So Ikura, obviously, it was great to me. I sold it a year and a half ago, only because I couldn't do everything at the same time, waking up early for Despierta, having my second baby, and taking care of Ikura also. It was a little bit too much, right. But it means a lot. Ikura is, it's been great.
Okay, and so can you tell us a little bit about, the name is not a name, I've never heard the name before. Can you just tell us why you chose that name? And then tell us, how did you get to be invited to talk about your business on Despierta America?
Right, so Ikura is the egg of the salmon. It's one of the ingredients that you use in sushi. That's what I specialized in that fusion of Peruvian and Japanese, which is called Nikkei. And the whole menu was made out of, that fusion, Nikkei cuisine. So I picked Ikura because that egg of the salmon to me looks beautiful. It's very shiny. It's like a jelly little bubble that when you bite it and when you eat it, 'cause you can actually eat it like that. It tastes very strong. It's like a salmon oil. And it's part of you use it to decorate the plates a lot.
Is that the is it little and orange?
It's orange, exactly.
Okay,
and I like the color. I made my logo with orange, gray, and black. So it came out perfect. And so I like the name, and I like the fact that you could use it as a logo as well. And Ikura, when we had special events on that street in Coral Gables where I had it, the city of Coral Gables will take us to different shows to promote the events. And one of those shows was Despierta. So I guess they liked the way I presented my plate and talked about my business, and they asked me to come back. But when they asked me to come back, they told me, hey, you cannot keep doing sushi because the audience is going to get tired of of sushi, and it's not probably for the Hispanic audience. So I was forced to do different food, and it's been a learning process, but I enjoyed it.
So was that your first time being on television? Was it at Despierta America?
Well, no, because in 2007, I was invited to be part of a movie.
What?
I played baseball my whole life. I played baseball since I was 7 years old. And playing after college, one of my friends told me about an opportunity to come out on a baseball movie. and I went to the auditions. It was good money. It was
Yeah,
a great
yeah,
opportunity,
yeah. Uh-huh.
and I got the role. So that was
Wow.
actually my first time on TV or in a movie. So when I got to Despierta, it wasn't like so shocking to me.
Uh-huh.
Like I know what I was going to, you know?
Okay.
So yeah, Despierta was my second time.
So did you have any training to be in front of a camera or being in that type of an environment, or would you? It sounds like you were just kind of thrown into it.
Pretty much, yeah. I didn't have much training. You know, obviously, I didn't know much about the different cameras and the different shots, but I did take classes for journalism because
Oh.
when I finished college, because of baseball, I wanted to keep doing something related to sports.
Mm.
So my plan was to keep doing journalism, to be in the sports area, you know. But then my jobs were always related to the kitchen, and either in restaurants or as a distributor, because I work in distribution companies for food, and that's why I ended up opening my own business. So journalism, I finished the classes and the whole thing, but I never found a job related to that.
Okay. So I think your story is very interesting because you don't see a lot of people who like baseball and like cooking. Like you don't see little boys like wanting to cook and wanting to play baseball. And one of my best friends, his son loves the kitchen, and so I know they're encouraging him and things that he liked. So how was it growing up? Was that something were you like one of the kids always wanting to see your parents in the kitchen, or was this something that developed maybe when you started having to cook for yourself when you got older? How did you find and navigate through that passion? And I ask because I know a lot of people may feel like, man, I like these two things. They don't seem like they relate. Cooking and baseball, I mean, you know, although I know you've had opportunities where your passion for cooking and now being on television has brought you to be in places with great athletes. So, how did that passion get developed? And tell me about the journey of how your your passion for sports and food collide.
Well, how do I explain it? To me, the kitchen was always like it was always like a best friend.
Okay.
But it seems like the kitchen was in love with me.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
like you have a friend that is in
Yeah.
love with you,
Yeah.
but you don't see
Yeah.
it like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay.
Because I was always thinking about baseball, but the kitchen was always there for me, you know,
Uh-huh.
to give me my first job, to give me the opportunity to have my first business, to to help me pay for school, for everything pretty much.
Okay.
And obviously I came to the US and I was 17 years old without my parents. So that also forced me to cook for myself.
Okay.
So when I knew I wasn't going to be playing baseball, you know, in a professional way, I just kept going with the kitchen, with the food. My jobs gave me the opportunity to keep learning about the whole business, you know, the inside and outside. The inside by being a server, a dishwasher, a cook, and the outside by being a sales rep, you know, to know the cost of each item, to know what it takes to build a restaurant.
Right.
So it gave me like the confidence to go ahead and try on my own. But then Despierta came, and it's so beautiful because it's a house that has a kitchen, but also they talk about different, different subjects. And one of those subjects is sports.
Mm-hmm.
They knew I love sports and I played since I was a little kid, and they gave me the opportunity to be part of those segments as well.
Yeah.
That's why I fell in love with Despierta, because I could do both things.
Right.
And that's the story.
That's awesome. And you've gotten to be like on the field of Super Bowls, right? And I think even soccer, I don't know if you've gone to soccer stadiums, but I remember you being with David Beckham
I
talking.
did. I had the chance to meet David Beckham. I interviewed Derek Jeter when he became the owner of the Marlins. I went to the Super Bowl with Alan Thatcher, you know, to
Right.
cover a little bit. It's been a dream.
Right. Man, that's awesome. It's cool to hear how your two passions are working hand in hand. So the next photo I have here, is of you in that very kitchen that we've been speaking about on Despierta America. I believe it was your, I don't know if it was your first date. Tell me about this image.
Yes, I sent you that picture because it was actually the first time cooking as a regular chef of the show. Because I went a couple of times before, just as as an invitation.
Okay.
But that specific segment there, I knew I was going to be going not in a daily basis, because I started it going 3 times a week.
Okay.
But at least I knew I was going to be part of the team.
Right.
And the whole crew made me feel like I was part of the family since day one.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's so special, because they gave me the confidence, that we needed a chef, we needed someone to take care of this kitchen that is part of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the kitchen is always, to me, and to most of the people, is the most important section of the house.
Yeah, especially Latinos.
So yeah, and that picture represents that, the gratitude to all the talents and the crew that made me feel at home since day one.
So when you were working there 3 times a week, were you doing the restaurant at the same time?
At that time, I had my day job, the restaurant at night, and I was waking up early to go to Despierta because, I needed it. I never left my day job, even having my restaurant for 6 years. I didn't want to get, those
you don't want to take the income from there yet.
Right? Exactly. I didn't want to take the income for myself. So that, I think, it helped me a lot to maintain it for so long.
Was there ever a time where you were doing these 3 things that you're like, man, I don't know, I feel like giving up, or like, this is too much, I don't know if I can do this? And if so, Absolutely. How did you get through that?
Absolutely. I remember always, to me, it's always been the shower, those 10-15 minutes to think.
Yeah.
And I remember, in the mornings, waking up, going to sleep at 1:30. That was basically the time that I would come back from the restaurant after closing and everything, and waking up at 5:30 again.
Wow.
There was a lot of thinking. What should I do? Should I, just keep doing what I was doing, or take this chance, this opportunity to go to the show and just delegate a little more in the restaurant? But it's a business that you need to be present.
Yeah.
If you're not present, it's not gonna work. And I knew that since I started it, because of my experience from restaurants and all the jobs that I had. So yeah, it was tough. It was very tough. Time-wise, I was getting very tired, and I had the second baby.
Wow,
I already had a 2-year-old, and the second one was coming. So, but I think I made the right decisions. I mean, I'm super happy of what I'm doing now.
Yeah, and so when you get on the show, I mean, the first time that I was on set on Despierta America, it was intimidating to me just because there's so many people there. Well, when I go, there's always a little event, but there's not that many people.
Yeah, you always come when Talia or Jade or
that's what I'm there. Exactly.
It's not always like that.
Exactly. I've been sometimes where it's more calm, but this is, I would imagine you may have grown up with having Despierta America on the TV at some point in the background, like myself, and then to be on set with people whose career has maybe their whole life, 20, 30 years been on television, and you coming new into this, I'm sure there are moments where you maybe have felt a little bit, I don't know if the word is insecure, or maybe like, oh shoot, how am I gonna handle this? Or, things that would come up as a human walking into any team. When you walk into any team, it's a little bit intimidating. I can imagine even one that's like a national television, where this team of people have, they have Nuestra Belleza Latina, they come from Mexican television or soap operas. How did you maneuver your way through that?
Chepe, I've always thought that Papa Dios put me in this place, God, it brought me to this position. And I thought about the movie, 10 years before, that it was a huge set, a lot of cameras. It was cinematography, so it's a lot of people, And when I used to get to the set of Despierta, besides knowing how it was ¿cómo se dice? How it was produced.
Right.
By just watching the show for so many years, I would see Raúl and Giselle Blondet, and they're having fun in a house, trying to connect with people. I understood that, and by doing the movie and knowing that God, gave me the opportunity to be there, that made me so much calm, and knowing that I just had to be me and try to present a dish and explain the best I could. And obviously, ¿cómo se dice? Hacer una relación o crear una relación, ¿sabes? A good chemistry, a relationship and good chemistry with my coworkers.
Right.
That's because you can tell on the other side of the screen when that's going on.
Right.
It has to be a good chemistry and fun and real, very real.
Right. That's cool. I like how you talked about the chemistry of a team is so important, no matter how big or how small the team is.
And that I learned from baseball. It's a team sport. You need each other to win the game, and that's on every job that you get, pretty much.
Everybody's important for this show to go on, to make those home runs. So in the kitchen, is there a person, a celebrity that you've cooked with that maybe was like, you're like, I can't believe this is happening, but I can't fan out. I have to kind of keep it together. Have you had one of those moments, or somebody that you're like, wow, in my wildest dreams, I wouldn't have thought this?
Yeah, but a couple of times, actually. I mean, J-Lo was one of them. With the sports guys, I didn't cook, but I interviewed them. I had the chance also going to the house of Bamban Zamorano, which is a guy from Chile that played soccer. He's huge, and he's part of 2DN, which is the sports section of Univision. He works for Univision Sports. But just these guys that have won, the Champions League, that have gone through they've gone to a World Cup and being finalists. Derek Jeter, J-Lo. I mean, people that I was able to have in my kitchen or next to me interviewing. It's never going to go away to me. Even if hopefully I stay doing this for 20, 30 years. I know I'm gonna keep filling this with some of them.
Right. You feel that little tingle there. No matter how many times J-Lo goes to the kitchen, I'm sure you'll have that feeling.
Absolutely.
So I want to go to another photo, which is very personal to you, where it's the birth of one of your children. So tell us about this moment in your life and how that played into your career as well.
Well, I sent you that one. I think it's Silvana, which is the smallest one. But obviously both of them were mean the same to me. I just couldn't send you one with both newborns. At that time, Anabella was probably 2 or 3 years old. But that picture times 2 represent my life. My life from that point on, forever. It's gonna be the most important thing to me. Despierta, the restaurant, and everything else is gonna be for them, pretty much,
Right.
So that's probably the most important picture you have out of the 5.
Yeah. And how did your life change when, being a family man, and now, like, you probably go anywhere in Miami and people are like, "Tú eres el chef." Like, I'm sure it happens. How does your family handle it? I know your children are a little bit bigger now. I mean, they're still young. How old are your kids?
3 and 5.
3 and 5. And so does your 5-year-old maybe think ever like, oh, people know Papi, or like that's him on TV? How does your wife, how does she handle the, I know there's sometimes where she comes on TV, her coworkers be like, mira, te vi la televisión. Like, how did your family and your immediate family and your other family, how did they handle all this, Chef Yisus stuff?
I mean, I think they handle it in a good way. I mean, my brother and my sister, you know, there's always a little, ¿cómo se llama? A little bullying, no?
Yeah. I'm sure.
A little bullying going on. It's always going to be like that. But my wife and my girls, I think they see it as a something to be proud of, no?
Yeah.
That dad or my husband is able to stand there and talk to so many people at the same time, and that you go to the supermarket y la señora de la caja, you know, oh, Chef Jesus, can I take a picture with you? It's great. I mean, I think they enjoy it as much as I do.
So your 5-year-old, you think, does she now understand a little bit, like that people might know you elsewhere or that you work on television?
No mucho todavía,
Okay.
But when she enjoys seeing me on TV.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes when I get home, it's just like, hola, Chef Jesus. You know, she never calls me Chef Jesus. It's her dad or Jesus.
Yeah.
But it's funny when I come in and she's like, ¿Y qué, Chef Jesus? Like, you know, like, so they call you like that, no?
Yeah.
So how is it? How come they call you that?
That's so funny. At such a young age, she has that.
She's getting it little by little.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I love that. Okay, I have a photo of you in front of the American flag, but I don't think you're running for a president or governor, are you?
Well, after seeing, you know, the one we have now, I think we all have a chance.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. We probably anybody could accomplish their dreams and become president.
But yeah, well, that picture is when to celebrate the time that I became a U.S. citizen. You know, I came to the U.S. as a tourist. I was able to go to school and play my sport, but after college, I decided to stay without the status. You know, and because of everything that was going on in Venezuela. Right. And I remember calling my parents, telling them that I was not gonna go back. You know, that I liked here, and that, you know, that in Venezuela was becoming a mess, and I didn't see any future there. So I decided to stay, and they had to. Well, they started thinking of a way to come and help me gain the status, you know, and be legal.
And how old were you at that time?
I came when I was 17. It was like 19, going to 20 years old.
Okay.
So they found out that by getting political asylum, which Venezuelans were getting a lot at the time because of Chavez and all the things, they found out that I could go into that application because I was still under 21. Right. So that's what they did, but it took a long time. So I stayed those 3 years, a couple of years without a status. Then they came, applied, and then everything started, you know, getting organized for me to get my residence and my citizenship. So it took a long time. You know, it was 5 years as a resident, and then the application plus the other 4 years. So it was probably after 10, 11 years that I was able to become a citizen. Wow. And that's really important for any immigrant. No?
Right. And so when you came to the United States on your, is it a scholarship or is it just a visa to play baseball?
It was as a tourist because you didn't need anything else to go to high school. Oh. Okay. But then in college, yes, they did help me to extend my status as a student.
And so when you left your country here, was that ever in the back of your head that you might want to stay, or was that totally like a change of heart when you were here?
No, I had thought about it because I was coming probably to the US since I was like 11 to different tournaments to play ball. Mm-hmm. And I always liked it here, you know, because of it was so organized and the baseball fields were so pretty and neat. In Venezuela, you played in any piece of land and you make your own bases and your own lines to play baseball. Here, it was, you know, the little grass perfectly cut, and you had 3 different uniforms, cheerleaders, a mascot, you know, it was like a movie to me every time I came. So it was in the back of my head that I wanted to stay.
And
at
did your
some point.
parents travel with you when you did those tournaments when you were younger, or did you always come by yourself?
I came with the team, yeah, on my own.
So your parents never came to the US by the time that you came.
Exactly. It was, I
Oh,
think they
wow.
came for the first time in 2001.
Okay.
Both of them.
So how was tell me the a 17-year-old coming from another country. I'm not sure if you came knowing English when you came. Did you
No.
know English? Okay, so you didn't know English. Uh,
Esto es puro inglés sin barreras, papá.
I need español sin barreras. I'm still learning. Uh, so what's happening in a young boy who is, I know that I'm Puerto Rican and Cuban, but I don't have much connection with the Cuban side of my family, but my wife is Dominican. So and I've been to, trips where we're helping people in poverty. I visited Cuba. So I understand what you're saying when you're saying like, it was just a piece of land that we played baseball. But I know that there's Americans, and I know that there's second, third, fourth generation Latinos that maybe are disconnected from that reality. Um, I know when I was in Cuba, I was just like, man, there's no Wi-Fi. People are not on their cell phones. It's like a pure life. And sometimes people don't realize the poverty they're in. So you coming to the United States, maybe not knowing the language, that culture shock, uh, and seeing things so beautiful when you get here, when you made that decision to say, mommy, papi, I'm not going back. I know you're close to your dad and your mom. I've seen, and I've heard from you a little bit of your testimony. Um, and you were by yourself. How was like, did you wrestle with that at night? Was it many tears and prayers to decide to stay, or how'd that work for you?
Very much. I mean, I remember in my first couple of classes in high school, especially science, earth science, I remember I would come out of that class with headaches because I was trying to understand the teacher, and they wouldn't stop for me to catch up or translate or anything. The guy
You
was
weren't in the ESOL program?
ESOL program, yes.
Okay.
And the saddest part of this, my dad is an English teacher.
Oh, wow.
And he was always behind of me and my brothers to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, come on, Dad. I mean, we'll learn later, I'm not gonna sit down with you at 8 p.m. at night,
Mm-hmm.
to go through a book and practice my pronunciation. I'm not gonna do that.
Right.
So we never, sabe, como que no le hicimos caso.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came, I knew I made the wrong decision. Mm. Now he has his own business and it's great. He has his online classes and stuff. Mm-hmm. He keeps doing that. Wow. But I could have taken advantage of that, and I didn't. Right. So yeah, it was tough. I mean, to learn the language, it was a challenge. But I had the help of my teammates too, because not only I would listen and write and read for class, but I will also go to practice after class. And I had to talk to them, I had a few Venezuelans, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans that I would talk Spanish to, but the other ones were gringos. And I had to force myself. My coach was American. Oh, wow. So not only for class, but also for baseball, I had to push myself.
Did your parents te apoyaron in your decision staying in Miami? They didn't try to tell you to come back, or?
Always. At that point, my brother also came to the U.S. with a job opportunity. He did have the status, and it was good opportunity for him. And they knew back in our country there weren't many opportunities, to grow and to make a life. So I think that's why they decided to also come over with my sister that was also there.
And so I love talking to anybody who has like an immigrant story, just because first, I love stories. And secondly, the political climate right now, there's some people who might not think that immigrants come and actually are looking for a profession. So in the time period where you were considered, illegal, Um, were you scared, or how were you living? How did you go around? Did you go to, hang out with friends? Were you able to live a normal life?
I did live a normal life just because I knew I wasn't doing anything wrong.
Hmm.
I will practice a lot, and I had my job at an IHOP.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
I had my job that also helped me
Hmm.
practice my English.
Yeah,
Um, but I wasn't doing anything wrong. I will go out
yeah.
also, yeah, with friends. I remember a time where I had to drive. My mom came
Hmm.
after high school.
Yeah.
Before going to college, I remember she came as to visit as a
Hmm.
tourist. She will stay 2-3 months and go back.
Hmm.
And we both went to a tryout where you go to a college and the coaches see you playing, and they offer you a scholarship. But this one wasn't. I think it was Daytona Beach.
Okay.
So from Miami to Daytona, it was a good 4 hours driving.
Yeah.
And up north, um, a police guy stopped me,
Oh my God.
and and I remember I came at the time. I had my little license. Obviously, I
Hmm.
didn't have a status, but I did have a license.
Yeah.
Um, and when I came back to the car, my mom was crying because she
Oh,
was scared
of course.
that he could do something to me.
Yeah.
I know nothing wrong was going to happen. He
Yeah.
stopped me because of one of the stoplights was not working. I didn't. It wasn't not
Yeah.
nothing bad,
Ah, porque tú
yeah,
estás
you feel
americanizado.
that. Sí, sí, sí.
Your mom. Go ahead.
But
What were you saying?
que you do feel, como que si estás haciendo algo malo a veces,
Yeah. Yeah.
you feel scared sometimes, pero it's part of the process.
So I want you to you're already on the other side of this journey, as far as being a person who's here maybe with not the legal status that you want, and took you years to get there, or to become, or how long were you without the your status as legal?
2 years, about
two
two
years
years, almost 2 years.
Okay, and then it took you how many more years to become an American citizen?
At least 7 more,
Yeah, I know. I
because
think, yeah,
you had to be a resident for
5, right?
5.
Right. So what kind of advice? Because we are in a different political climate. I know there's a Netflix series come out. I don't know if you saw it. I think it's called Immigration Nation, which is so sad to see what people are going through. And I think I know it's trying to bring awareness, but I think it also can scare people. Uh, what advice do you have for anyone who may be watching, maybe an immigrant who is in that process of, they're not here doing anything wrong. They would love to, uh, be in a career or a profession so they can move on with their life. What advice would you have for somebody like that?
At this point, Chepe, I think there's so many options too that, and I'm not saying only in the U.S.,
Right.
but when you go away from your country,
Hmm.
obviously looking for something better,
Hmm.
opportunities for your family, for your kids,
Hmm.
you have to study the possibilities, and know what other places are offering.
Hmm.
I know U.S. is a great place to
Right.
grow, and it's been amazing to me. But you have to go wherever you go, know what your chances are. And
Mm.
I thank my parents for that, because they did the research. They
Okay.
knew they were coming to help me, and to find a way to be uh, with a peace of mind.
Right.
Porque it's tough.
Right.
It's tough knowing that you wanna make a living, that you wanna grow, that you wanna be better. Without those papers, it's
Right.
almost impossible.
Right.
So my advice is to learn the system,
Hmm.
and if there's not an opportunity here, I'm sure there's other places that can give you that opportunity, right?
Right.
In a legal way.
Right.
So if you're going with your family to grow, work hard, and become better, you can do it here in Canada, in
Yeah.
Europe, or in any other country, because um, the final goal is to grow,
Right.
together. So that's my advice. This is not the only place. you might have the chance and the opportunity to legalize your status here. But if you don't, then keep looking, you know?
Right. And if your dad teaches the language of the place you want to move to, sit with him at 8 o'clock and learn.
That's a plus, yeah. Listen to him. Listen to him.
You speak English really good anyways. So
Thank
I
you,
have
man.
a final image I have here is you with your book. Tell me about that journey of being a published author. Like, how did you jump into that?
Well, that's my third baby, man. This is my third baby right here. It's something that I never thought about, obviously, being a sports guy, or obviously everything that we talked about. But this was a great opportunity that Univision gave me to, to put not only the recipes, but a little bit of everything that we talked about, you know, the process, a part of my life, how I came here, how I found a job in cooking, how I became a chef or opened my own place, and how I got to Despierta. So yeah, it was a great chance. We started talking about this a couple of years back, so it took some time, but we didn't want to have a recipe book just with recetas and pictures, but also with ¿cómo se llama?
Like a biography of your life.
With the little stories of how each plate helped me grow and go from one place to the other.
Wow, that's cool. I haven't heard of anybody do anything like that, where they're incorporating a bit of their life story or endeavors into their cookbook. So I think that's cool. And how can people get the book?
Well, they can get it on Amazon and in Target, Walmart, Books and Books online. It's pretty much in all those stores where you can find the book. You'll see Cocinando Delicioso with Chef Yisus. And if you go to my Instagram, you can see the link there too to purchase it.
And we'll put your social handle here so that people can follow you and keep up with your
Facebook
food and your Facebook.
Put it on my Facebook. And if I have my YouTube ready, you put it there too.
That's right. We'll have your YouTube up too. To wrap up, I know you gave advice to immigrants, but now I want you to give advice to anyone who wants to break into the industry, whether it's television or cooking. I think that from what you shared with us, you're basically just an all-around dreamer, and you pursue your dreams. What do you think that other people need, or what would you recommend to anyone who has a dream to do any of the things that you're doing? Maybe it's something that you've learned that you wish you would have done, or something that really helped you. I know that I don't know if you've had moments of loneliness, because it seems like you did a lot of things on your own in a way. I'm sure you've had support, but I know some of my recommendation to people is about sometimes you have to learn how to work without a support team, and sometimes you need to realize where your support team is coming from and pull on them. But share whatever it is that you want to share to a creative that wants to pursue a dream like yours.
I think to me, the most important thing, Chep, is is take those opportunities to the fullest and learn, It doesn't matter if it's washing dishes.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's serving plates or flipping pancakes. Everything you're going to be able to apply in the future, I'm sure.
Yeah.
In my restaurant and TV helped me a lot, the language that I didn't learn from my dad. That I always remember, because it saved me so much,
Yeah.
And probably that was what made me realize that every step you have to take it seriously and try to grow and take advantage. In some point you're gonna need it and you're gonna use it. So whatever the dream is, if it's to get into the industry, television, telenovelas, whatever you want to get into, prepare yourself, and learn. If you're doing something not related to that at this point, somehow it's gonna help in the future. Yeah. So do it with ¿cómo se dice?
Passion.
Con respeto, respect and passion.
Yeah. And if you want to be, yeah, I hear them. They're like, let me out. And if you want to be on telenovelas, I know you need a lot of Botox fillers and you need to work off.
I'm preparing myself, man. I'm taking any opportunity.
That's funny. Well, man, thank you so much for your time. I have so much respect for you as a person. You've been very humble
Likewise.
since the time that I've met you, and you're always fun just to connect with. And so I can't wait till I go back to Miami so we can link up and have some arepa or something.
Thank you for sure, brother. I'll save you one.
Don't forget to subscribe and watch this next video. Only if it's me. If it's somebody else, don't watch it.